In the House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 8, Rhaenyra will reunite with Daemon. Earlier in Episode 8, before Rhaenyra flies on her dragon to Harrenhal to meet Daemon. Accompanied by another dragon, Rhaenyra will first fly to Driftmark to meet with her hand Corlys Velaryon, where Corlys tells her, "My ships sail at your command," and tells her the Hightowers are marching. Before he adds, "We must crush this beast at its head," advising her that they must take King's Landing now before the Hightowers arrive with Daeron and his dragon Tessarion. Later on, we see Corlys and his son sailing their ships, battle-ready and in full armor, towards the capital. We finally see Daeron Targaryen riding his dragon Tessarion with the Hightower host. At the beginning of the episode, we'll see Rhaenyra having a dinner with Jacaerys and Baela, accompanied by all the new dragon riders, where they discuss their plans, and Rhaenyra will say we must break the will of our enemy. Before Daemon leaves Harrenhal, he will survey a huge army he has gathered and will give them an epic speech saying we fight for our queen, and for every one of us who falls, 100 of them. There will be no mercy. Aemond will fly his dragon Vhagar and burn down the entire place that's declared for Rhaenyra, along with everyone there, as a response to Rhaenyra getting more dragons, an action that will lead to a huge fight between Aemond and Alicent when she confronts him about it. Aemond will also try to include Helaena and her dragon Dreamfire in the war. Towards the end of the episode, Aemond will decide to fly Vhagar to Harrenhal and join Criston Cole's forces, to take out Daemon and his dragon along with the Rivermen army. But all they will get is an empty castle, while Daemon and Rhaenyra take the undefended city of King's Landing. We'll also see Cregan Stark's army, Winterwolves, crossing the Twins and joining the war, while at the same time the Lannisters are marching towards the same place, the Riverlands, where Daemon's gathered army is already present. So it's three huge armies surround the same place, Northmen and Rivermen against the Lannisters and incoming Hightowers. Tywin Lannister will meet the Triarchy where he wrestles with them, and ultimately achieves nothing, as Otto Hightower already secured allegiance with the Triarchy. We see 90 warships of their fleet sailing towards the Gullet, while Rhaenyra's young children are unknowingly sailing towards them. Rhaena will also finally claim Sheepstealer and fly towards Team Black to join them in the war. Okay, now that you got a little highlight of all the events that will happen in episode 8, let's start with a detailed, chronological explanation of the events in the episode, along with all the leaks and character dialogues we have, starting with Rhaenyra's dinner with Jacaerys and Baela, accompanied by all the new dragon riders, Adam, Ulf, and Hugh. Rhaenyra tells them, "I have entrusted you with a power only few have known. We must strike while we have the advantage." And she also says we must break the will of our enemy. After this, Rhaenyra will fly to Driftmark to meet with her hand Corlys Velaryon and discuss the war plans with him. Corlys says to her, "My ships sail at your command," telling her that he's ready. Corlys will also tell her the Hightowers are on the march, and then he will also say you must crush this beast at its head. Corlys advises Rhaenyra that they must take King's Landing now and crush the Greens at their head before the Hightower host arrives with Daeron and his dragon. Now is their best chance to take the Iron Throne. Later we see both Corlys and his son Alyn battle-ready in their armor, sailing towards King's Landing, while their other family member Adam is also battle-ready in his armor, ready to mount his dragon Seasmoke. Rhaenyra will then fly to Harrenhal accompanied by another dragon to finally reunite with Daemon and plan the attack on King's Landing. Before Rhaenyra arrives, Alfred Broom, a member of Rhaenyra's council who Rhaenyra sent to talk to Daemon, will arrive first and meet with Daemon. Alfred will say to Daemon, "While you have mustered an army, Rhaenyra has faltered." Alfred doesn't know Rhaenyra gained new dragons and dragon riders, but it doesn't matter what Alfred says. Daemon has already made up his mind he doesn't want the crown and will fully support Rhaenyra. We'll see Daemon getting ready for battle, putting on his armor and leaving his chambers. Daemon will survey his army of Rivermen at Harrenhal, and as he's doing so, Rhaenyra arrives. Daemon gathered a huge army for Rhaenyra just in time. Daemon and Rhaenyra reunite and Rhaenyra realizes that she has a huge army in the Riverlands and Daemon is now fully supporting her. Daemon will give an epic speech to the Riverlords and Rivermen at Harrenhal, saying we fight for our queen, for every one of us who falls, 100 of them. There will be no mercy. In episode 8, we finally see Daeron Targaryen riding his dragon Tessarion above the Hightower army, an unstoppable combination. Daeron will in the future win many battles for the Greens, earning him the nickname Daeron the Daring. Daeron is protecting Hightower's army that's marching from Old Town with his dragon known as the Blue Queen, a beautiful blue she-dragon. Her wings are a dark cobalt color, while her claws, crest, and belly scales are the color of bright beaten copper. Meanwhile, Aemond flies his dragon Vhagar and burns down the entire place that's declared for Rhaenyra, along with all the people who live there with dragonfire. Aemond burns down this place as a direct response to Rhaenyra gaining more dragons to her side, justifying it by saying we'll answer outrage with outrage. This will lead to a huge fight with Alicent, who doesn't agree with Aemond's actions. Alicent will tell him you wish to rule the Seven Kingdoms, but you reign ruin and death. Aemond will respond by asking would you not have us prevail, to which Alicent will shout not like this. This scene takes place after Aemond first visits Helaena and talks with her, while Alicent joins them later on. When Aemond and Helaena are alone, Aemond will tell her pretenders raise new riders against us. I need you to fly with Dreamfire to battle. Aemond is trying to get Helaena to fly her dragon into battle, but Helaena will refuse. She doesn't want to cause harm to anyone. That's when the two will be joined by Alicent as Helaena steps aside behind her mother disturbed. In another scene in episode 8, Larys will talk with Aegon saying the Prince Regent is angry. There's no telling what he will do. And what Aemond will do is a huge mistake. Aemond will, towards the end of episode 8, decide it's best if he flies his dragon Vhagar to Harrenhal and takes out Daemon and Xerxes along with Daemon's Rivermen army to at least remove a threat from one battlefront, until they join Rhaenyra and all the other dragons. However, he is too late. The entire episode 8 is a build-up for the battle for King's Landing, in which Rhaenyra and Daemon take the Iron Throne, as well as a build-up for many other battles across Westeros that will happen later on, such as battles between the forces of Starks and Rivermen against the forces of Lannisters and Hightowers. In episode 8, Cregan Stark's army Winterwolves will arrive at the Twins, seat of House Frey, where they are given passage into the south, which was secured by Jacaerys. Jacaerys' plan works, and the Freys hold true to their word and allow Cregan and the Stark army to cross south. Cregan is honoring a promise of 2,000 Northmen he made to Jacaerys in the Season 2 premiere, and they're marching to fight and die for the Dragon Queen. The Stark army is marching to the God's Eye next to Harrenhal, where they will join with other Rivermen to oppose a host of the Lannisters. In episode 8, we also see the Lannister host marching towards the Riverlands. In Season 3, we'll see the Stark army, the Winterwolves, lead the attack in the ensuing battle by the lakeshore, charging 5 times at the Lannister spearmen, which will be a decisive victory for the Blacks and the bloodiest land battle of the entire war, leaving the Lannisters' main army totally destroyed, who hoped Aemond would join them with Vhagar. But back to episode 8. Tywin Lannister will meet the Triarchy where he wrestles with them. He endures some tough times there, which he later learns was for nothing, as though the Hightower has already secured allegiance with the Triarchy, who hates Corlys and Daemon since the times they fought at the Stepstones, and they're glad to fight him again, with a promise of great reward. The Triarchy allied with the Greens against Rhaenyra and is sailing towards the waters between Dragonstone and Driftmark. We see 90 warships of their fleet sailing towards the Gullet, while Rhaenyra's young children are unknowingly sailing towards them, teasing the bloodiest sea battle in history. The Battle of the Gullet will take place when the Triarchy seizes a ship with Rhaenyra's small children on board. When Jacaerys finds out about this, he flies his dragon, later joined by other dragons and dragon riders, to attack the Triarchy, which will be somewhat of a victory for the Blacks. But Jacaerys and his dragon die along with Aegon Stormcloud, and Rhaenyra's younger son Viserys is taken captive, but thought by everyone to be dead. As I said, this battle happens in Season 3, but I will set it up in the next episode. In episode 8, we'll have a scene of Criston Cole and Gwaine Hightower, who are marching to Harrenhal. Criston will say the dragons dance, and men are like dust under their feet. We march now toward our annihilation. Criston the Kingmaker is a bit pessimistic about the war which he helped start, and Gwaine confronts him about it. In the Season 2 finale, Rhaena will also finally claim Sheepstealer, a huge wild dragon brown in color, who has been stealing sheep in the Vale, and Rhaena will fly Sheepstealer to join Rhaenyra and everyone else now that she finally has a dragon as well. Rhaenyra and Daemon fly their dragons from Harrenhal to King's Landing, avoiding Aemond and Vhagar and joined by other dragons and dragon riders as well as by Sea Snake Adam and Valyrian fleet. They take undefended King's Landing without too much fighting, as the only defense of King's Landing, the Golden Cloaks, have remained loyal to the man who commanded them in the past, Daemon, and they open the city gates to Rhaenyra's forces. Rhaenyra takes King's Landing from Aegon and the Greens, while Larys will smuggle King Aegon out of King's Landing. There you have it, guys, everything we know about the scenes that will happen in the final episode of Season 2, along with the leaked information we have. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below. For free, you can now listen to the entire audiobook Fire and Blood, on which House of the Dragon is based and which covers the entire Targaryen history, including current and future events of House of the Dragon, for free with a notable trial using our link in the description. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.